to YAOK. We are so happy to see you on this day. I didn't mean to rhyme, but I did. And I can't do any more than that. I'm so sorry. Hi, this is Alyssa.
You also can't see anybody except for me, Eric J. Brown.
Yes, and Eric J. Brown. How are we today, Eric J. Brown?
Good. I missed you, Alyssa.
I missed you. Me too. And I missed you and also have been reading your book. So I've been having little bits and pieces of Eric J. Brown every day.
Cutting them up and eating them.
Yeah.
Because it's a thriller. Boom.
It is. It's so good. And I'm so excited for it to be in the hands of everyone next year. But we're not here to talk about me. Yes, we are here.
Because we already did that.
Right. And we're here to talk about Jeff Miller, who came on the pod today. And we talked about his book, Rare Birds. We also talked about his series as well, The Nerdy Dozen. We talked about comedians.
Stand-up comedy.
Improv. Yeah.
And
weird jobs.
Heart transplants.
We talked about the dynamic of humor and grief.
Toxic.
You know, I think for what it's worth, this is a podcast about books, and this shit is prolific. I think we talk about much more than books.
Yeah.
Every time.
We're always talking about just empathy, and sometimes we get a little chaotic and go off the rails, and that's fun.
And
I will say, I don't think we did that very well. Did Jeff calm us? Did he just make us say, no, let's stay on focus here?
He's a very calm presence.
It's because he does all the school visits. He's like, oh, I'm used to dealing with little kids who try and take everything off the rails. So I think anytime he sensed it about to happen, he's like, okay, I'm going to talk about this. This will drive him back in. And you're like, oh yeah, good point.
That has to be it.
He played us.
So funny. He
played us.
And honestly,
which is why the intro and outro are going to be so chaotic.
Yeah.
Let's make it last 15 minutes.
Right. I think people would love that. But I don't think they would, and I think that they would like to actually hear Jeff. So
I guess we can jump in. We'll do it at the outro then.
We'll do it at the outro. Enjoy us talking to Jeff Miller.
5 long years, our lives like magnetic fields. You are my universe. You are my universe, and I'm just a planet.
Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Hey, we're doing all right.
I think that's the best anybody can hope for.
Yeah, it's crazy times. I'll take all right.
Yeah, just all right is perfect.
Yeah.
How are you two doing?
Wonderful. You know what? I'm lying because I am actually pretty nice because I just had a vacation. I just came back yesterday. So I feel nice and rested. It was very relaxing and fun. It was wonderful. So I'm good.
Hanging by a thread. If I'm being so honest, hanging by a thread. I think we need to throw all of the social media out. I think this feels like other things in this moment in time. I'm feeling like, you know what? We didn't use this thing appropriately and we don't get to have it anymore.
We need a timeout.
We need a timeout for many things in this life. And I think for me personally, social media might be that thing. But I digress. Jeff, where in the world are you?
I am in northeastern Ohio these days.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm originally from Kent. That's where I grew up and lived in Chicago for 14 years and left the city for many reasons. Came back and have just been finished up another book and helped my parents move houses after 38 years. And so,
wow.
So
you're going through all of these changes all at once then.
Right. We said, why not just one change at a time? Let's do 4 or 5.
That's how it should be when you have a new book coming out, I feel like.
Yeah.
When does so your new book is Rare Birds, and it is coming out in January, or it just came out in January, right?
So it was
January. It's like
January 2023.
Ago,
yeah. So a little bit. But yeah, so, that's kind of, if I never get to write anything else, I'm happy that I got to.
Do you feel like Rare Birds is like your magnum opus, at least at this point?
I'd say at this point, yeah. Like being an author, I don't know, like how many school visits you do, but it was kind of a surprise where, people are like, hey, you're a public speaker now. That's half of your gig. And, I'd always talk to kids about writing about what they know and what they love. And, I'd written 3 books it was like Top Gun for 10-year-olds, basically, like gamers have to save the world. I'd go around and, tell people to write about what they know and write about what they love. And with Rare Birds, it was kind of like, well, when am I going to do that? And so, I think, for Rare Birds, for me, it's hopefully kind of like a life raft for anyone that is going through a tough time. My mom was diagnosed with viral cardiomyopathy when I was about 12. And when I was 35, she received a heart transplant. And so Rare Birds is kind of a story about a boy and his mom as they head to Florida to wait for a heart transplant. So it's a lot of that. It's a lot of our experience. I got very into birds. I didn't realize how into birding I would get.
Were you into birds before you wrote it, or or did you like get into birds through the research for this book?
Through the process. And it's really funny. I feel like the birding community is kind of, some people are very strict and they're just really like specific. And then some people I would talk to and they're like, I just like the sounds. I like the sounds that these ones make. And I'm like, that's awesome. That's the kind of birding that I'm into.
You know what? I feel like, you don't mind me asking, how old are you, Jeff?
I think I'm 41. I'm pretty sure.
First of all, love that you said I think. And the reason that I
think about it too. I always forget.
I take like a rough guesstimate. I don't know. And what are you going to do? Check my birth certificate?
Because I know my husband is a year older than me. So I'm just like, all right, well, he's 30. I'm 38. Okay, got it.
Point of reference. Okay, the reason I ask is because this has become a thing for my father, who is approaching 62, where all of a sudden very interested in birds. Very interested in birds. And so I'm thinking like birding sneaks up on all of us at some point in life. And I think you just like expedited the process.
Yeah.
Can I say how funny it is you said that? Because when I was on this vacation yesterday, we have an electric car, and so we went to Newport, Rhode Island, and we can get all the way up there on one charge, and it's fine without stopping, because then we have like 16% left, which will get you like 50 miles somewhere. So I was like, okay, before we leave tomorrow, we have to charge the car. So we like went to a gas station, started charging it, and decided we weren't going to wait there for an hour, so we just went for a walk. And as we were walking around, I kept like pointing out these birds, and there was like a goldfinch that like popped up out of nowhere, and I was like, oh, look at that one, and I was like, should we get into birding? I feel like we should like start birding.
See?
And so now I'm like, I genuinely have been thinking about like going on. I am not an outdoor person, and now I'm like, oh, I want to go on a hike and look at birds. But then I'm like, how does one bird?
Yeah, well, so the fine people at Cornell University, I don't know if you have the Merlin Bird ID app, but that is what I would recommend. You just hold it up and it tells you what birds, as it's happening. So that's probably the greatest tool for birding. But then it's just kind of like a thing that once you start to notice it, then you really begin to notice it more often. But my friend Kate has, there's in Pasadena, there's a bunch of parrots, I think, that just live in the wild.
Are they cockatoos?
I think that might be it.
Because I feel like I've heard this as well.
Yeah.
I don't know
so
where
she has
though.
The recording in Pasadena of those cockatoos, and it's kind of like a holy grail for the bird app to get some sort of very strange, very regional type of a thing. So it's been, I know what a wood thrush sounds like now, just off the top of my head, which I would not have known that before.
So how do the birds tie into the story?
So in the story, they go to where his mother, Graham, is the main character. And so they go back to her hometown, and then he finds her old birding journal. And so when she was young, she tried to find the 10 rare birds in Florida. And so we decided, the snail kite was the one that, she could never find. Mm-hmm. And so his mission is to try to find a snail kite over the summer as they're waiting for her heart transplant. Yeah. And so, my mom received her heart transplant in Florida. It was a very long journey. And the day that we got the call, I didn't leave my apartment, and I think I walked 10 miles is what my phone told me. So it was a very, just a lot of questions. And, so with Rare Birds, I kind of, I tried to at least, ask some big questions and, life and death and all of that stuff. And, and so Rare Birds is also, kind of based off my experience with my friend Zach as well. He passed away when I was 23. So 21. It's been a while. And so, this story, my goal was to make people cry on public transportation with this.
Oh my God, evil.
And I had a few friends that were in middle airplane seats, and they were just like, "You did it. I'm crying. Way to go. Aww. I hate you."
In the middle too. That's vulnerable.
Right. Yeah. There's no refuge at all. And so, this story is also kind of about my experience with losing my friend Zach. So, when we were talking about, is this my magnum opus? But, for now, I feel like I threw it all out there. I did what we could. And it's also like, I started writing. I just wanted to make people laugh. I mean, I wrote for my college newspaper, and it was that was why I enjoyed doing it. And so, I still try to have humor in everything that I do. But I feel like you have to have the serious parts as well as the silly parts.
Yeah. And I think it even having humor, finding that sense of humor as well as still talking about serious topics is important, because I think it makes it easier, but I feel like it just helps you kind of process things a little bit, because it requires you're not in that part of your brain that only is sad and is only talking about these dark things. It's you're using the other side of your brain that also is finding humor, and trying to get between those two things helps you process things a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks to years of therapy, I've also, kind of understood. I feel like, my role was kind of like the cushion. I'm the baby of the family. And, I think, humor was sort of my response to hard things. And, and it's all, I feel like, comedians, sometimes the funniest people have a lot of very dark things going on.
Yeah. Not to bring up a person who's horrible, but my first real experience with that, with the overlap of comedy and grief in a lot of ways, was Louis C.K., who now we know, horrible, disgusting person. Well, actually, you know what? I think when that was a thing when the allegations came out, I was like, and I believe that immediately. Everything about him leads me to believe that that's exactly true. I'm not going to even question it. But anyways, he did a show called Louis, and I don't know if you guys watched it, but I I thought he was very funny from his stand-up. Which I wonder now, if I watched it, if I would feel the same way. But at the time, I thought his stand-up was very funny. And then I watched the show, and it was so depressing that I was like, I actually don't think I can continue this. And I'm sad now. I'm sad for you. But a lot of the times, the people who are the best comedians are the ones who've experienced such tough times in life, because I think it just really shows you like a beautiful balance that you can create. And like some of it also has to do with the work you do in therapy. It's like shifting your perspective and like kind of creating something that feels like joy in the midst of something that is like so consumingly upsetting at the same time. And it's a really beautiful thing that human beings do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree.
Have you heard, do you ever listen to Maria Bamford?
I love Maria Bamford. Yeah.
I do too. She like that. I think she is who comedians who want to talk about like, or like anybody, I think, who wants to talk about like a really, really dark thing, but like make it funny. Yeah. Should definitely listen to her because
she's awesome.
I will say she's kind of an acquired taste.
Absolutely.
Because there's like my friend, when her show Lady Dynamite came out on Netflix, one of my friends told me to watch it. And so I started watching it, and anybody who has seen Lady Dynamite probably knows it's unhinged. And I didn't know who Maria Bamford was. It was my first introduction to her. And I was just watching the first episode and I was like, I do not understand this. What is this about? Is this supposed to be funny, or is it supposed to be just weird? And so later I randomly would hear, my husband has XM satellite radio in his car and like actually listens to comedians as he's driving to work, because he's a lawyer. He's a very high pressure job. And sometimes to keep himself from crying on the way to and from work, he would listen to comedians.
Sure.
And he would tell me about Maria Bamford. And so I would listen every once in a while. If we were on long trips, he would switch it on and she'd pop on, and she has really, really good bits. But then when she goes into her like stuff about mental illness, it becomes very dark. But I think you need that little bit of preface beforehand where you understand the way she tells a joke to appreciate her humor. And now I'm like, I think she is one of the greatest comedians of all time at this point, because she can take things that genuinely are so fucked up and upsetting and dark and make it funny. And it's all about her too. It's only about her mental illness. It's not about like, oh, I'm going to talk about this specific person and make fun of them. It's like, no, here, I'm going to talk about my OCD and my weird things that I just go off the handle about, and everyone's gonna think it's insane and fun, and I like it. So I love her. I think that has also created like that dark humor in me.
Yeah, I think she owns a bookstore in Duluth these days, and and like in an interview, it was just like, how are you successful? What are you doing? And she was like, I don't even want to sell things. I just want weirdos to have a place to go.
I love it.
She gives away tickets to her shows too. She's like, if you can't afford it, just send me an email. I will put you on the list and you could just go for free. Don't worry about it.
That's amazing.
And I think she even, she always likes to make fun of, I think the Catholic Church says you should give 10% of your money that you make away to charity. And so she said, we do 11%. So it's one more better than the Catholic Church. Because it's like, awesome. I think her husband just does like paintings and he's just an artist. So it's the two of them are like, listen, we're fine. We have the money. We can live our lives, but we are comfortable. We want to make sure everybody who wants this art can experience it the way they want.
My example of dark humor sucks in comparison to her. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, he sucks in general, but like, especially in comparison. Anyway, Jeff, what was finding the balance between the parts that you were like adding humor in, and then also when you needed to like kind of be more grounded in the moment? Was that hard to do when you were putting the book together?
It is, you don't want the tone to shift too much, and I kind of have it be strange and just like, what's going on? But I think it just kind of worked where it was like, I kind of did these same weird, silly bits, and, I think it's something that people do to cope, and so, but it's a tricky line to walk, because I feel like, you know, there's a certain point where you're just like, nah, this isn't believable, or it's just fluctuating back and forth. This doesn't work. And so I feel like I actually, like, Chicago really helped me with that. So I kind of moved there with the hope of doing improv comedy or something. And I kind of fell into the storytelling scene there. And so I got to do a lot of like first person personal stories. Like I did one about my friend Zach. I met Sam Irby. I don't know if y'all are familiar with her. Oh God. Oh, you guys don't know Sam Irby? Oh
no.
My God.
How are we spelling Irby?
IRBY. And her website is, everything on her social media is Bitches Gotta Eat. And
well, I love her already. I'll keep her on a tab for later.
She's my favorite writer in the world. She's great. And so she ran a storytelling show that was kind of like, I want you to, like, I think it was called Guts and Glory, actually. And so it was like, you need to share something that scares you. And I just feel like the more times you do that in a room full of strangers that are there, that like, and sometimes, you know, you go to those and you're hearing people talk and you're like, this should be with a therapist. This should not be with a passive audience here. But so I feel like that was kind of training in terms of, you know, you can like feel it immediately, like what's working, what's not working, you know, how to get the laughs and then like land a very emotional ending kind of. So I feel like I was lucky to stumble into that world. And so that kind of kept me pushing on. And, you know, Rare Birds, it was kind of like a 5-year wait after my first 3 books. And so, you know, the publishing door does not always stay open. You have to keep shoving very hard on it. But it worked out. Like, I mean, I wrote most of Rare Birds during the pandemic. So we got to, it's like King Lear stuff, just hanging out with cats in an apartment in Chicago, writing a sad book. But it kind of, I feel like that gave me, you have to have, I don't know, I feel like I've heard it before, but a stillness like with writing. And I think, you know, I was fortunate to kind of have that at the time. So I don't know what, it would be interesting to see if I didn't write that during the pandemic, if I wasn't able to just solely focus on that, what it might have been. So, yeah.
Did you do did you get into the storytelling stuff in Chicago after your other books, The Nerdy Dozen, had already come out?
So that was all, it all kind of happened at the same time. So like when Nerdy Dozen began, like I did an AmeriCorps program in 2008. And so I was with like 10 other teammates, and we were living on the floor of a convent in Columbus Circle in Manhattan. And it was a huge day of service. And there was a high school in the Bronx, and the site leader dropped out the day before. And, you know, everyone was just like, we need someone to lead everyone. And I was the only person that was like, cool, I'll do it. Sure. And the folks that stayed for lunch, the only people, were the editors that I'm still in touch with. And
wow.
Yeah. And so after so I did AmeriCorps in 2008, a time known for its economic certainty, and a beautiful time.
Beautiful.
And so I worked at Staples. I came back and worked at Staples, and then I probably saved up $500 and then moved to Chicago and lived on my siblings' floors. And and so Nerdy Dozen kind of was starting during that whole process. But it was kind of cool to, I was focusing on the Chicago part and getting into that storytelling scene, and then also getting to write very silly Top Gun for 10-year-old books. And so, that was, I feel like it was a cool time. And yeah, I feel like that's all I got.
I feel like the storytelling stuff helped you kind of prepare you to go to school visits and talk to an auditorium full of kids that are just terrifying because
yeah.
As soon as they sit down, they're just like, okay, how are we going to ruin this guy's day? Or is he interesting enough that we will actually sit here and then ask real questions at the end?
Right. Which is
That's why I probably haven't done. I mean, I know I probably haven't done author visits in schools because my books are a little more restricted in schools. But I feel like the other reason that I wouldn't have done a school visit is because I would be terrified of all of the children staring at me and waiting for me to mispronounce one word and then laugh.
Right.
Yeah.
And I learned when I was doing visits when Rare Birds came out, I would share with everyone, like, I'm from Ohio, and every kid would laugh, like a giggle, like, and I'm just like, what? I don't even, there's some inside joke that Ohio means something, and it's just so strange. But
you never found out what it was?
I don't know.
They probably were just laughing because they're like, what a nerd from Ohio. That's it. I guarantee you that's probably it.
Right.
Wow.
Well, I mean, we have a lot of presidents. We have a lot of
Ohio is Gen Z for boring, Matt Kelly says.
I think probably like some Bluey reference that I don't get.
Yeah, some Bluey reference.
But I do feel like Chicago kind of prepared me for school visits because I kind of view it as almost like stand-up comedy in a way. Mm-hmm. And when the kids are kind of like interacting with you, if you just like kind of throw it back at them, they become really engaged. And, I think like making them laugh. I talked to a bunch of like juniors and seniors in high school last fall, and I got one laugh out of them in like a 15-minute talk. And so I was like, that's good.
Oh my God.
I consider that good.
It's not a failure if you won.
Yeah. Oh my God. That would stress me out so much.
Yeah. Oh, it's great though. Like, I mean, I went through like a kindergarten class, and the first question is just like, why do you have golden teeth? And I'm just like, well, because we don't have dental insurance, my sweet child. That is why.
Golden is great.
My mommy and daddy don't pay for my dental insurance like yours.
Oh my God.
I think it's like Harper Lee teeth. That's what we're all shooting for.
Harper Lee teeth.
Awesome. Now I have to look up Harper Lee's teeth.
I
mean, look them up later.
It's some good ones.
In the darkest corners of the internet, a nameless, formless entity has been growing. No one dares question where it was created or what it wants, but those who have been entranced by its musings chant its blood-curdling name in unison. Horror Movie Night! Find Horror Movie Night on your favorite podcasting app or at hmnpodcast.com.
Jeff, I want to talk to you about your process, your writing process. Are you so we used to ask, are you a plotter or a pantser? But we have since changed it because I think it's George R.R. Martin says that it's a gardener or an architect. And gardeners kind of plant seeds and see what grows as they're writing, and architects have blueprints where that's like an outliner where they're like, okay, this is the structure of the story, this is how it should be built, and then when they go to write, they write it with whatever tools and materials that they have there. So it's like, it may not look exactly like that, but it's pretty much almost the same. So what are you, a gardener or an architect?
I feel like I'm probably more of a gardener.
Another one from me.
I think, I mean, I don't know, my experience with books, it's basically like, you get pretty far into it, and then there's it clicks and you're like, oh, we have to change everything. And it's for the better. And, I always try to tell kids, like, writing is 90% editing. And, I feel like I am, a person that, if you're I feel like I've heard books is described as like painting, not to bring in another profession.
Let's mix all of the metaphors together.
But just like how many coats of paint. And yeah, I feel like I'm definitely a reviser. And so, yeah, but I feel like I've been trained by architects, but I am a gardener in my heart.
Yeah. Because I think there's more. I had to do a count at some point, but I think that we ask this question to pretty much every author that comes on here. And I think that it is basically me, you, and 2 or 3 other at the most. And we've been doing this for over a year now. So everybody else is like, oh, I outline. We have people who outline like 100,000 word outlines before they even start writing.
I can't even.
We had an author who I feel like they were a gardener, where they wrote an entire draft and then deleted it, like put it in the recycling bin and then emptied the recycling bin and started over. Like that was their process, was, okay, well, I wrote the shitty first draft and now I'm going to write a new first draft of a different story that actually came out of this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, the artistic process is so weird.
Yeah.
Outlines make sense to me the most, but then I also, anytime I've written anything just for like Substack, like I've never written a book, but anytime I've written anything for like Substack or anything like that, the best things that I write are always when I really feel compelled to write it. Like it really feels like a story that like lives here, or like a thought that like really lives here. And then you just kind of like, I don't need the outline that much. And so I wonder if that's kind of the experience that you have, especially when you're writing something that's like based on your life and so rooted in this like very emotional time for you. That has to contribute to like what that writing experience is like, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, I think that like story structure and those things, like I'm not great at that. And I feel like I loved improv comedy because it's like, yeah, we just make it up. We can do it. We don't need to outline. We don't need to, do advanced work. And so, yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm like a career B student, something like that. And, I went to school for electronic media in Cincinnati, and we would have to do all these pre-production things, and it was stressed that was so important. And I was always just like, whatever, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And now I'm learning that you need to have that. But it's also good you have that structure, but then I feel like, yeah, sometimes you're just writing something and you're like, oh, this is where this needs to go. And, with Rare Birds, there were kind of different ideas of how it would end. But eventually it just kind of came down to like, oh, this has to happen. And it's going to be like difficult to write and emotional. But yeah, I tell kids, talking about comedy, I feel like a lot of my inspirations are comedians, and Bill Hicks, his whole thing was, people are just here to create and share. And that's what we should be doing. And yeah, so I feel like, sharing is important, and hopefully kind of brings in a little more humanity with everyone, or understanding and empathy and sympathy and that stuff. But I'm not great at outlining and plotting. I'm getting better. We're getting better.
Yeah. In order to sell a book, you have to at least either have to have the book written, or you have to have an outline ready to go that says, oh, this is what the book will be about. Will you approve this publishing? And then they have to go, yeah, sure. Why not? Or they say, no, go away. Who are you? And then they shut that door.
Right. And I mean, for me, like with Nerdy Dozen, it was sort of that initial part, and then the fully fleshed out outline. And so, I thought it was just going to be one book, and they were like, "Oh, it's a 3-book deal," and I was like, "Awesome! Who's going to write the other 2?" It turned out it was me.
Surprise! It's you all the way through.
That was I feel like that was grad school for book writing for me, like the Nerdy Dozen. I kind of got put through the ringer a little bit in a good way, and learned. I mean, I feel like I tried to, my writing is hopefully as simple as possible. That's what I learned from that process. And I mean, it's like, there's a Mark Twain quote that any book for a 10-year-old should appeal to anyone that has been a 10-year-old. And so, that's kind of what I try to do with my writing, and just try to make it universal, even though it's kind of specific to what I've gone through.
Yeah, I love that, because I mean, there's a lot of, even like my friends will be like, "Oh, are you going to ever write anything for adults?" And I'm like, well, I am trying to, but also my books are still for adults. Like,
yeah,
just because an adult may be like, you know what, that's below me because it's for kids. It's like, well, I read kids' books because I like to read, and a good story is a good story. It doesn't matter who it's for. Like, you have plenty of books that were written for children that end up becoming movies or TV shows or whatever, and adults all of a sudden see it and like, oh, this is actually really good. It's like, it was from the beginning.
Right.
You just put your own mental block in front of yourself and kept yourself from enjoying a good story just because you thought it was for children.
Yeah, and some of
That's
like the
one
best
thing I don't get about adults who are readers, and it's like, well, why don't you?
The
want
one
to
thing.
Read adults who are readers, yes. What other adults who are readers things should I not like about them?
Well,
we have time. Let's go through every single thing.
Oh, there's so
much. One of the.
Okay, you know what I think? I'll say, here's my thing. I think when I started to read again as an adult, like after being sort of turned off by reading in like the process of going to school, I had to unlearn how when you're reading in school, you have to like remember things. It's not it's about enjoying the story, but it's about remembering enough because you're going to be quizzed, you're going to be tested, you're going to have to write an essay, whatever. And so now as an adult, I read stories and I am not really concerned about like what I remember necessarily, because like no one's going to quiz me, and it's for me to enjoy and like have time that is not like on screen and whatever. And also to like, you learn a little. It's sort of like there was a quote, I can't remember who it was who said it. That was like, I am, like, my personality is a little piece of every person I've met in my entire life. And I feel that way about books. It's like your personality, like, is a little bit of everything that you consume, including the books that you read. Long and short of it is, there are adult readers who, like, have, like, multicolored tabs, who, like, take notes. And I'm so happy for them if that works for them. I personally could never. I did that in school for so long, and it stressed me out. And I just want to like, do the closest thing I can to turning my brain off while having it be very tuned into what I'm reading.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the people that I talked to about birds. Yeah. Some people have all their tabs, and then some people are just kind of like, I like this noise that it makes.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
exactly.
think that was
the feeling that the bird gives me.
Yeah.
When I was getting back into reading, I think that was like one of the most freeing things to realize, was that nobody's going to quiz you on this later.
Yeah.
So now when I read a book, I pretty much don't remember. I remember the story and I remember the way it made me feel. And that's pretty much it. Like, I can't remember. I can remember some character names every once in a while. If like there's like a really good moment that like feels like shocking, or a twist, or like something romantic that like sticks with me. But if it's just a good story that I'm really enjoying, I'll be like, ooh, this is good. I like this. And then I closed the book and I was like, I really enjoyed that. I'm going to recommend it to everybody.
Yeah.
What is it about?
Hard to say.
Unsure, but I know how it made me feel. And that's all that matters.
Yeah.
And I stand by that.
Sometimes when I pitch books to people now, I'm just giving them vibes, and they're like, ooh, this sounds good. What's it about? And I'm like, don't know. Don't ask me that. Just
That's
these
really
are the vibes.
funny.
Go on Goodreads and read what it's about and figure out if you like it. But this is what it feels like when you're reading. Great.
Another big piece of that is reading as an adult. You realize that if you start a book and you're like 50 pages in and you're like, I don't want to fucking read this. This is so boring. Or like, whatever, I'm not in the mood for this. This is like not the vibe I'm in for right now. I'll pick it up later.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can burn it. Exactly. You just burn it.
You literally can. That's a big adult lesson. You can do almost anything in this life. Yeah. No, donate it. Donate it. Put it in one of those little like library things at free libraries where you take one and you leave one. See if there's another one that you would like, or just donate it. Whatever. But like, but even that has been, I don't know. It just brings the joy back into the process. And you know, Jeff, was there any part of becoming a reader as an adult, like becoming an adult reader, that stands out to you?
I mean, not so much adult. I feel like I too was kind of, I mean, I liked reading. I feel like I grew up, Calvin and Hobbes, like the comic book, you know, that was my jam. And then the first time I read David Sedaris in high school, I was just like, what is this? This is what I'm into. I feel like I remember that being a very pivotal moment for me. Just being like, oh, we can do this type of stuff. Awesome. Yeah. And, you know, I feel like, with media and everything, it's very hard to focus and pay attention. And, you know, I worry about people reading these days and, you know, what it will look like. And, and so hopefully maybe we'll kind of have a return to a lot of people reading more books and that type of thing. But I feel like, you know, David Sedaris is my huge turning point as a reader.
I started reading David Sedaris in high school too. And I was like, oh, wait, essays aren't boring? Huh, who knew? Right. Like you can actually have an interesting story to tell that is nonfiction. And I think I even read a few other like authors like him just because of that. I was like, oh, actually, maybe I do like some like creative nonfiction specifically. Because nonfiction for me, I was always like, oh, that's just history books. No one likes that. And I was just going into the Stephen King section. And then I think my mom was reading David Sedaris. I think the book was called Naked. So I was like, that sounds sexy. I want to read that. And then I don't think there was anything sexy in it.
He lives in a nudist colony, I think, for a while in that one. But it's not sexy at all. It's like the opposite of that. And like, I think, I mean, in that book, he has, you know, strange jobs picking apples. And so I feel like that encouraged, like, I did AmeriCorps before that. I worked at summer camps in California and in Maine. And I did a trail crew in the desert of Tucson for a while. I like still have scars. It's like the only thing I've quit. I hated it. I was not good at it. I had to leave, but I still have like scars all over my arms. And I remember like actually in terms of reading experiences, we were in the desert camping. Like we hiked in. And so we were just under the stars, and I was reading Lonesome Dove at the time, and I just kind of felt like a cowboy. I don't know if it holds up anymore. It's probably problematic in some ways. But I remember
I think everything is.
Yeah, right. But I feel like, you know, if you can ever read Lonesome Dove in the desert, I'd recommend it probably.
What a beautiful immersive experience.
Yeah.
You've had so many jobs, like so many little jobs along the way.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like that gives you a lot of like fodder to pull from for your writing.
Lots of material.
Sure. Yeah. And so, you know, in Chicago, I worked at a cafe, like restaurant. And so I was there for maybe like 9 years. I feel like the pandemic kind of ended it. But it was really cool. It was like a weird Cheers thing happening. But so I just feel like coming across a lot of people and just seeing, you know, their lives play out. And I remember, you know, one day there was like a very sad, she danced ballet and like she just got news that she had like a devastating knee injury and probably wouldn't be able to dance again. And I just vividly remember having a moment with that. And Yeah, and Malcolm Gladwell came in, and so I like walked up to him and I was like, "Hey, man, I got a weird question for you. Are you Malcolm Gladwell?" And he was like, "Yeah." It's like, "Here's a cookie." Now, maybe I wouldn't have done that. I think it's a little problematic. But yeah, so I saw Nick Offerman on the street, and I like told him, I was like, "Hey, I really loved Paddle Your Own Canoe. What are you writing next?" I don't know. I shouldn't say what he said, but I was like, "What's the book about?" And he said a very graphic joke, just like right there on the street. A joke that he would still make. I just don't feel comfortable saying it, but
sure,
yeah. But so just like weird moments like that.
But was he being like? Was he anticipating you to laugh also, or was he being like?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, if this is the first time that I heard that Nick Offerman is a jerk, I'm gonna lose my mind. It would be so sad.
Oh no! It's the exact opposite of that.
Okay. Good.
He loves his wife very much. It was along those lines.
Okay.
And
I knew it was. I knew it. The two of them are so horny for each other. It's adorable.
Yeah, I was like,
it's disgustingly adorable. It's like, I get it. Love exists.
I know. That's so funny.
Yeah. Wow. There's actually Nick Offerman. You should Google it. My brother, he's still like loosely in the Chicago theater scene, but he has been in there for a very long time. And Nick Offerman used to make sets, and I think he would and so one of his acting pictures, and it's just like a gigantic fake phallus that he's like holding on to, like out of his pants, and he has just such like a eating grin on his face. Yeah, I think it's pretty it's around on the internet. Yeah, it's just he's out there keeping it weird, which we like.
I love
it. Nick Offerman.
So, Jeff, are you working on anything? Are you working on anything now?
So we just finished my next book called Wyatt the Wild, and so that will be out in 2026 at some point. And and so that is kind of Jeff Miller presents Hatchet in a kind of strange way.
So it's like a survivalist story kind of thing?
A little bit, yeah. And, I don't know. I kind of have had moments of, another straight white guy writing a book. Like, what's this one going to be about? But I think that it's good for like boys to talk about their feelings. And so I think being comfortable with being knowing your emotions and talking about feelings, that's like what I'm trying to do with this next one. So
if there are straight white guys listening to this podcast right now, it already means you're unproblematic, which means that we do actually need your voice. So I'm going to say that, especially in books for boys, because that is, I think, that is where publishing has one of the deepest downfalls, is writing books for boys, like just middle grade to teen boys who can it'll foster like this love of reading, because a lot of books that are published are like the main characters are a girl, and then boys should be able to read about girls, but for some reason everybody just thinks, oh well, this isn't for boys because the main character is a girl. And it's like there's no way for us to get out of that unless there are books that are written specifically to be like, oh, this is for boys, because then of course a couple girls are probably going to pick it up too. But as long as they will find a book where they're like, oh, I'm connecting with this, I like this, I want to see what else I want to read, then that is when a librarian will be like, oh, you like that? Here, there's this one. And he'll be like, oh, well, there's a girl on the front cover. I guess I'll try it anyway.
Right.
All books are for everybody.
Yeah.
It's just everybody thinks that boys just don't want to read anything that isn't about boys. And it's like, no, get them to start reading about the boys, and then they will read other things as long as they like it.
It's their gateway. Their gateway books.
I just think that it needs to be unproblematic guys like you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Like somebody who will be able to talk about emotions, because I think that's another big issue happening right now with adolescent boys and not being able to handle emotions properly. Alyssa, you know a bit about that.
I was just gonna say, what makes you say? Yeah, a lot of my other parts of my job deal a lot with like gender dynamics and debating with men who want to call and say terrible things to me. But you know, it's the conversations are important because I would rather them have them out loud. I would rather them talk it through, and you never know like what gets through to people. But because of that, I am really happy that you're writing stuff for boys. Like that actually is really important. And I understand the impulse of like being a straight white guy and writing a book and feeling like your impact doesn't need to be there, but it so does, especially if you're gonna like microdose empathy and microdose vulnerability for them, because like modeling those things, especially in like a survival story like that, like that's inherent to that entire story. And that's important. Like boys need examples of what that could potentially look like. So, and like, and many times in these conversations, when I'm speaking to men who feel very insistent on their views, especially when they're talking about women, they are referring to what other horrible men have said. And then I'll say, well, I'm a woman and I'm a certified sex educator. And I spent my, you know, however many years, it's like 5 years working in sex and relationships. So like one would think my advice would be valuable to you, and yet this is not the advice you want to hear. And so in that same token, your voice, being a straight white guy, is essential for the people who aren't at a point where they want to hear it from anyone else. So in a way, like we need that in a way where it's like no pressure, but like you have a huge opportunity to like create a big change for these boys, especially at a young age.
For sure. And I mean, I feel like it's, acknowledging the privilege that I have and like what I can hopefully do with it, if this is helping anything. Yeah. And I mean, even, I think there's just like a loneliness epidemic. It's interesting. I've been in Northeastern Ohio for a little bit, and just all the sad men that are like just rolling around solo and hanging out at a BW3 for like 7 hours. And that, you know, I don't know. There's just, we need to be able to talk about our emotions a little bit better.
We're more connected than ever and more disconnected than ever. And it's wild. It's wild to watch and experience every day. So your work will contribute to a lot more than I think, you know, you initially give it credit for.
Yeah, the world needs more kind voices.
They do.
Gosh, well, that's great to hear. And,
So what are you reading now?
What am I reading now? I'm actually about to read Whale Fall by Daniel Kraus.
I have that one.
I've like done.
Actually, speaking of like kind of not like toxic masculinity, but I think that is part of what that is like him kind of dealing with some issues surrounding his father's death and like some of the things that have come from living with his dad and everything while he's trapped in a dead whale.
While he's checking oxygen tanks. So I like stumbled into him at an event a while ago, and I think he was writing that at the time or had finished it and it was just about to come out. But I know they just finished filming the movie for it, and he has like he showed a picture of like a fake whale tooth on his desk or something. That seems like a fun souvenir to have. But so that's what I'm reading. What are y'all reading right now?
I'm reading The End of the World as We Know It. It's a book of short stories based in the world of Stephen King's The Stand. So it's like all of these, like The Stand is about a virus that wipes out the world's population, and everybody who's left behind has to have a battle between good and evil. And this is everybody else that was still alive during all of this happening. So it's like, it's like, there's other people in the world that were not involved in this big battle between God and the devil, and here are their stories instead. And it's every short story is written by like huge like powerhouse horror writers. And
cool.
every single one of them so far has been completely different and interesting, and I'm just really enjoying it.
That's really cool.
That's great. Are you going to see, isn't there a Stephen King film coming out soon?
The Long Walk, yeah, with Philip Seymour Hoffman's son.
Yeah.
And it got really good reviews. That's one of the few books that I haven't read, but I've like heard that it's really good. And so now I'm like, do I power through the book before I see the movie, or do I see the movie and then read the book afterwards? I'm going to read it either way, but I'm just not sure what I want to do.
Yeah. It's a tricky one.
I'm reading For the Love of Men by Liz Plank, I think is her last name. I'm doing some research because I am thinking of taking a stab at this whole writing a book situation. But that's a whole conversation for a whole other day. And this is a very preliminary thought. So I'm doing some research on some other similar ideas. So I'm reading that. And so far it's very good. Alarming, but very good. And then I also am reading the next Eric J. Brown book.
Oh my gosh.
But it's not out yet. Are we allowed to say what it's called?
I mean, yeah, we had a whole episode when you were away that I just only talked about it.
Okay. Well, it's called...
Producer Matt and I filmed a whole promo episode. It was basically just paid programming by me.
I love it. Listen, you put the time and effort into the podcast, you get a whole episode. That's what you get in exchange.
Jeff understands. It comes out in January. I gotta market this. I spent a little bit of my vacation convincing myself that was my break. And then every single day after that, starting on Monday, I'm just going to start posting videos about it online. And I'm just not looking forward to it. I hate it.
Okay. I'm so excited for it to come out. It's called Better the Devil. And I literally am like, it's so good and spooky ooky. And it's just great. I'm so excited.
I can't wait till you get to like certain parts of it, because I think you're going to freak the fuck out.
Okay. I can't. I also forgot what the book was about. And then because you told us the premise a while ago, and then this is Eric's first thriller, so I started it, and I'm like, and I'm this is the very beginning. You find out very quickly what the story is going to be about. So like I'm in the very beginning, and I'm like, oh wow, this is sad. This little kid's on the run, not kid, but like this young adult's on the run, and he doesn't feel comfortable at home. And then you get to the part of the story where he pretends to fully be a missing child that he is not. And I was like, Eric J. Brown, you sick fuck. This is a crazy story. And it hit me again. And I was like, this is an insane concept.
And then it just gets crazier.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be a good time. And we'll be really excited to keep up to date with everything that you're putting out too, Jeff.
And then when Wyatt comes out next year, we'll have you back to talk about that too.
That sounds fantastic.
You can give us survival tips.
Yeah, I will. I had to
in the woods.
Kind of learned like a lot about wolves for this one.
Okay.
And so, I went to outside of where Purdue is in Indiana. There's a wolf park that's been around for 70 years, I think, 60 years. So I got to walk around and hear some wolves howling. It was great.
Is that the first time you saw a wolf in real life?
I feel like I saw them at a zoo before in one of those sad enclosures.
I went to a wolf sanctuary, and I had no idea how big wolves were. I thought they were just dog size. No, they're bigger than that.
Yeah.
They are actually big and terrifying.
Yeah.
Yikes.
But I was there, and I feel like I got they all began howling, like 5 of them, like from all across, like they have several acres and stuff. It was cool. It's a very interesting dynamic with wolves. Wolves.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It was great talking with you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Everybody, you can buy it wherever you buy books. And we're excited about your next books and everything that you're going to have coming out in the future. So,
well, thank you very much. I really appreciate being here.
Thank you, Jeff.
When she asked me how far we can take it, I tell her we can
now that this is our outro, this is when it gets chaotic because Jeff actually asked us what we were reading, so we're not going to talk about what we're reading. Unless you want to keep talking about my book, Alyssa.
Okay.
Don't do that. No,
I don't want to because I'm not far enough in yet, and I don't want you to spoil anything. So we'll talk about it the next time we record, which I'm really excited for because we know what we're recording next.
Yeah.
But when we get there, it'll be exciting.
It'll be a surprise for everybody listening.
Yeah, you guys will all know.
Because let's hint at it because it's an anniversary event.
An anniversary event for a potentially wrongly beloved book series.
Great. Love that.
Yes. Oh, not you, Siri. Okay. So something else I want to talk about in our chaotic outro, because we already talked about what books we're reading, is have you seen the movie Weapons yet?
No, not yet. I want to, though.
You gotta see it.
I know everybody keeps telling me, and I wanted to, but it's also so hard to like avoid spoilers. So one of the reasons I hate social media so much is because somehow people just get like these perfect, and I think it's actually PR. I think it is these PR companies for these films because they have like full 4K clips of these movies the week it comes out that they're posting. And I'm like, where did you get this? How is this happening? Yeah. And then there'll be the people that are in like the front row of their movie theater taking a skewed shot of like a big twist. And I've already seen like snippets of things and I scroll past it quickly and I'm just waiting for my brain to completely block them out. I think it's almost there where I don't think I have anything, but
for what it's worth, the twist of it all was, for once in this life, I did see it coming before it was revealed in the movie. And I still think it was really fun and really good. The main reason I want you to see it is because so many people, and I feel like this actually happens a lot when horror movies are popular, so many people went and saw it and they were like, that's the scariest movie I've ever seen. And I saw it and I was like, it's not even close for me. But different things scare people in different ways. So,
Yeah. I think the scariest movie I ever saw can never be topped because I was a child.
Right.
And it was the edited for television version of Halloween, the original. I was like 6 years old, home alone. And that was the most scared I've ever been seeing a movie because I don't think that can ever be one-upped. Like that. Right. I'm an adult. I know it's a movie. Like the jump scare will scare me. Right. I think the movie, and if as long as a movie gives me tension, maybe one or two good jump scares, and it's telling a good story, I love it. There's no such thing as the scariest movie ever made. Because everybody also talks about how Sinister is like scientifically the scariest movie ever made because they like keep track of people's heart rates while they were watching it. And I think they do it every year now where they'll show them a new line of movies and see what the highest average heart rate is. I liked Sinister fine, but that was one that I think it was just like, it's a little grisly and upsetting. Kind of a bummer.
Thank you. I thought Sinister was upsetting more than it was scary. I didn't feel scared, but I did feel disturbed. That, oh my God. And then one time, producer Matthew Kelly, calling him by his legal name, came to my house and he was like, I'm going to bring a movie that's actually going to scare you. And he brought the Poughkeepsie tapes.
Ew.
Oh, and then my mother was in the living room also, like while we were watching it. And my mom was actually like kind of okay with scary movies, but I was like, this is the funniest one for her to just be like watching in her peripheral. What a disturbing film.
Yeah.
So disturbing.
And I don't like ones like that where it's just like, this is dark and disturbing. Did you watch Bring Her Back? I mean, we don't have to keep talking about horror movies. Matt can book us on horror movie night if we want for that.
Right.
Bring Her Back. Did you see that?
Wait, also apparently my request was bring me something that will fuck me up. And you know what?
Okay, well, you did. So
you did. Absolutely.
That makes sense.
Delivered on that. I have not seen Bring Her Back.
I will say this. It's a great movie. It's a really good movie. The acting is great. The way it was made is great. The story is really interesting and intriguing. But for me, at the end, it was just kind of a bummer because it's like everybody loses, and I'm not spoiling anything at all. It's just like when you realize what the story is, it's just a fucking bummer, man. I was like, as soon as I was done, I was like,
oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was good.
Interesting. Oh,
it's one I don't think I'll watch again. I might get curious, but it's the same people who made Talk to Me, which I loved. That one I was like, I was so intrigued by. I was like, I could see myself being a teenager in high school and using this fucking hand. And I was like, I'm in. I love it.
Talk to Me, I have to see. Movie. I have to see that.
Good.
Bring her back if you watched it and we have the same opinion on like Sinister and Poughkeepsie Tapes, and that was one where like you're not revisiting, then I think that's one I'll skip. I feel like the scariest movie I've ever seen, and this is like we're really off the rails, the scariest movie in my opinion that I've ever seen was Hereditary. And the way that I measure it is in the moment I was not that scared, but I couldn't sleep right for days after that. I kept in my head seeing Toni Collette fucking Spider-Man in the corner of my room, like on the ceiling. Like I just couldn't get that image.
Like a rock.
Like that was just horrible.
That one I just felt like was just harrowing.
Yeah. And then my best friend got me this book that is like it's literally right here. It's like the script and also pictures from this. Oh my God. Hello. Oh wow. It came out in 2018. Ugh. Okay. It's a beautifully bound book.
Oh, that is beautiful.
And
is that the screenplay and everything?
It's the screenplay.
Nice.
And it's really cool. And then there's just like, horrifying high quality imagery.
That's what I wanted. I bought the screenplay. They sold the screenplay for Get Out and Us.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted. But it's like this little tiny paperback with like cheap paper. I was like, oh
no, you need the need the glossy photos in high quality at the end. I think that Someone on Fire. Toni Collette.
One more recommendation for you before we wrap it up, because I do think that Matt is probably like, I need to go.
No, and he's right.
When Evil Lurks, that's something that will fuck you up. It's a Argentinian movie. I showed it to a bunch of my friends on Halloween, and they were, I think they were looking for something more fun on Halloween. I was like, ooh, this is going to fuck you up. This one's scary.
I don't know if I want to be fucked up anymore. Real life is doing that enough. I don't need to be. I need to have like a good little giggle. This is why I like movies like The Conjuring. Like it doesn't fuck me up. Okay. Last thing, and then I promise we're going to wrap up.
Saying that.
I know. I promise. Okay. So Rob Livingston, who is the dad, he's an actor in many things. He's the dad in The Conjuring.
No.
Ron, what's his last name?
Are you talking about the husband?
Yeah.
No, his name's Patrick Wilson.
No, I'm telling you, he's in The Conjuring, and I can tell you why. Because he is someone in The Conjuring. Maybe he's not the dad, but I'm fairly certain he is.
So he's not Ed Warren. That's Patrick Wilson.
No. He's not Ed Warren. Okay. He's the husband of the person who gets possessed in The Conjuring. He's the dad of the family.
Okay.
And so his wife is my boyfriend's aunt.
Oh.
So I met the both of them at my boyfriend's birthday party earlier this year. I can't believe I haven't told the story to you guys, because you guys are like the people who would appreciate the most. So I met him and I was like, listen, I am going to be very cool about this. I'm going to say this one single time. And then I promise I won't bother you ever again about it. The Conjuring is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's one of my comfort movies. I watched it at 9 a.m. when I was filming a Netflix show. I love it. I've watched it 800 times. I love it. You were amazing. And it's just, I don't know, there's something about it. And he was like, so gracious, so kind. He told me that when they went to the premiere of the movie, the producers really wanted pictures of Ron and his wife Rosemary with the real family. And Ron was like, absolutely not. He would not let his wife anywhere near the family because he's like, I don't know what I believe in, but whatever is going on over there is just not good energy. It's just not good. But anyway.
Well, listen, the next time, look, I'm going to bring this back to books. The next time we have Jennifer Dugan on, because that's who I was traveling with this week. Do you know that is her favorite horror franchise, and the Conjuring movies are her comfort watches as well? I think that I need to, the next time we have Jen on, we need to talk about this as well.
I would love to. I would really love to, because that was really like, I don't really have big, like, I don't get starstruck very often, but that was like, I was thrilled to meet him.
Yeah.
Can't wait to meet him again. It's going to be great. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to YAOK. Sorry this went off the rails so greatly. I hope that was still fun anyway. Go on Instagram and follow us at YAOK Podcast. Let us know what you've been reading.
Tell us the horror movies that fucked you up.
Yeah, what horror movie fucked you up?
Maybe we'll go down and like talk about them for a Halloween episode. It'll be a YAOK off the books. That's a cute name.
Off the book. Wow. Matt, write that down.
Matt, spin-off.
It could be a collab, a horror movie night collab. Off the books. Wow.
See, this is what happens when we don't get chaotic in the middle of the episode.
Yeah, and it's because I haven't seen you in so long. So now all of the crazy is like all coming up at once. Anyway, thank you so much for listening.
See you next time.
We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.